Hey guys, a warm welcome back to the channel. We're back on the Stradale Spider build today. However, I'm on my way there in my car and it looks like we might be fixing two Ferraris today. I've got what can be described as really a flat spot in the power band. And when I started it up, it was a little bit rough, but it seemed to sort itself out. But as I've been driving it, I've got the engine warning light on and it doesn't drive very nicely. Now, if you followed me earlier in the week, you would have seen on Facebook or on Instagram that I managed to pick up a lovely, genuine roll bar like this one for a future build. My mate Gary, who's got a very cool black 360 like this one, managed to source that for me. And during that little trip out, the car was not behaving too well either, so definitely got some kind of problem here. Anyway, let's get to the shop and we will figure out what the problem is. The car itself is really starting to take shape now. We're waiting for one more part. I'll explain that in a second, but as you can see, we've got the flap in place here. The panels are temporarily just put in place. They're not bolted in at the moment. The reason is some of this we still need to just wet sand back and polish, just to buff it up before it's finally ready, and so it makes it a little bit easier to be able to take those off sometimes. We're waiting for one little bit from Ferrari so we can put this flap back in place. We've got a few more little jobs to do. So this week we have done all of the interior. The floors have all been sprayed. These are Stradale, no carpets, back to satin black, but we have done every single little bit here, all underneath the mats. We've done all the bits that Ferrari wouldn't even do normally, so we've gone to extreme lengths on here. As you can see, we've got the mats just sat in place. I need to do a couple of little things on here. We're going to just put some protection down so we don't get any chatter on these. Battery box is back in place now, battery's ready to go in. And what else we've done? Oh yeah, let me show you the extremes we've gone to on this one. We have done it better than they would have done it at factory. Now, if you look at this area here, all of this is all gone back to satin black. And at factory, what they would do is whatever was left over, they would spray the bits that needed spraying, and then the splatter afterwards would be as it came. We have gone and done the whole thing, so everything here, you won't even see this, but I know it's there and it's all done properly. The same is at the front as well. Here's a look back to midway through the build when I started to strip out the interior of the Spider, and you can really see the contrast between the factory finish and how we have done it. So we've gone through, we've done all of the dash bars here, they're all black again, and like I say, you're not going to see these things, but I know they're there and it's all been done properly. Now previously I have mentioned on the Stradale Spider build, or the silver Stradale, the donor car, the air boxes were really bad. They were very milky, and it's a common problem on Ferraris. Here's my car, and well, it's probably one of the worst. The whole of the engine bay is bad, but I thought it was going to be a nice easy job just to literally machine polish out some of that milkiness, but no, I was completely wrong. We had to strip it back completely to the carbon fibre, take all the lacquer off and start again. Here's how we did it. Let's go and compare it to my car. Before, after. What a transformation. Look at that. How insanely good does that look now? The problem is, at some point I'm going to be doing my car. And look at this stuff here. we've got to do all that. Hopefully that's a little bit easier because it's a bit more flat, but we can do all the engine panels, all of the air boxes, the little trim bits there, and they need to come out like this. That is amazing. In the garage all day working on these things is a little bit taxing, and I need a bit of chill out time, and that's where my favourite VPN provider Surfshark comes to the rescue. There's so many benefits with Surfshark. For example, if you're booking a holiday, why not try bouncing your IP address from different countries and watch the prices of hotels, flights, car hire all drop drastically. And at home, I like to use Surfshark to watch Netflix in different countries. So I'm on Netflix UK here, and we've got a bit of choice, but I've run out of watching these things at night. So all I need to do is go on to my Surfshark, connect to say New York, and then simply refresh my browser. And there you go, we're in Netflix USA, where I've got a load more choice to watch, and it works the same if you're in the USA and you want to just watch some Netflix in the UK or anywhere else around the world. But the best bit is, by using my code, you're going to save a massive 83% off plus 3 months extra free, and there's a 30-day money-back guarantee, so it's a no-brainer. That is less than the price of a good cup of coffee just once a month. So guys, click on the link in the description below and start enjoying the benefits of Surfshark. Now on the dash here, we do have a couple of problems. If we look over here, you'll notice the mileage is all the 5s, and as this scrolls through, we have an X here. Now that is caused by either some kind of mismatch. Believe it or not, it's quite a common thing that happens on 360s. Now the only way to rectify that is, unfortunately, it's going to have to get plugged into a Ferrari diagnostics, and even then it might not fully fix it. So we need to reset the mileage and get rid of the X. So there's some kind of mismatch there that it's not happy with. Now remember, this is the original Spider Dash that we have created a hybrid and made it into the CS, and along the way something has happened and it's obviously not happy. So I'm going to speak to a few people, and we're going to see if we can rectify that one, but that is on the list of to-dos on this build. And over here, this is all our mechanism, our hydraulic mechanism for the roof, and back in that little canister there is all our hydraulic fluid, which was rather low, so I've topped that up as well. That's not too much of a bad job. I actually wrote a how to do step by step for this, I think in 2007, on my first 360 Spider on Ferrari Chat. I'll put the link down there, and over the past 15 years that has helped out many 360 Spider and 430 Spider owners. They work exactly the same way, and I use my own little write-up to remember how to do it myself. So we're nearly ready to start assembling all the interior. All of our floor bracing is down for these 16M the Scuderia mats that we've had to incorporate because of the bracing we said in the previous video. Now, one thing I have done here is just put this double-sided tape down just to stop any vibration on the floor. Obviously this is Ali, and with no carpet or any sound protection, this thing is likely to rattle, and that's going to be extremely annoying. So to stop that, we've put this stuff down. I'm just going to do one more test fit. We're going to then install all the center console, and hopefully it's all going to start coming back together. Okay, so it's all ready to go here. We've test fitted everything. Now we've had to jiggle around so many things here. It takes so long to get these things to actually kind of gel together now because we've raised the floors here. The next thing we have a problem with, which is nothing to do with the floor, is this battery box here. Now if I show you, if I push that in place, this is the standard one. Now normally we have all carpet here on the Spider, and it closes off this gap. Let me just move that out of the way. But that really bugs me, right? There's a hole down the bottom there. Now if we look at the 430 one, it does look slightly different, but unfortunately there's none in stock at the moment. So there's a possibility we might be able to get the normal 431 to fit there and close that gap off. But that really is bugging me. So I'm going to make a temporary solution, and what we're going to do is use a bit of this plywood and some correct grey Alcantara I have left over from when I retrimmed my car 12 years ago. There we go, no more gap, good temporary solution, and now I can sleep at night. Okay, so the floors are all in, looks absolutely amazing, but what a job. So because we raised all of this, it meant everything else had to be reworked, but we finally got there. So that's in, that side's in, all the pedal rest over there, that's in place. So now it's time to do all the center console and the rest of this, and then finally seats and dashboard. So let's crack on with it. Now, in the last video, you guys pointed out very quickly a problem that I hadn't actually noticed, so thank you very much for doing that, but I felt a bit of a fool for doing this. This is the sticker we created, the bespoke tyre sticker. Now, if you look down here, you very quickly pointed out that we had the tyre pressures, front and rear, the bars versus the PSI mixed up. So thank you very much for pointing that out. Like I say, I felt a bit of a fool. This was really down to me. It wasn't Stefano, because I gave it the go ahead to print. I think basically in my excitement of seeing such a cool sticker, I overlooked some of the details. Anyway, he has very kindly reprinted this, and we've made actually a few changes. So we've got our tyre pressures all correct, but also he added in Rosso Corsa, which is the type of tyre that the Stradale used. Anyway, we've gone back to the original, just nothing at all. The font there, Pirelli P0, we've just gone back. That is Challenge Stradale. So really the only change we've made is up here, which is Challenge Stradale Spider. The rest of it, we've added in the Italian text and corrected all the tyre pressures at the bottom. Anyway, it's time to add little touches like this into the car. Okay, the car is pretty much back together now. Check this out. All the interior is done. Sorry about background noise as usual. It's busy here. Everything's looking great here. Floor's looking fantastic. Seats are now in. All our center console is in the car. We've had a little problem there, which has taken me a day and a half to rectify. I'll go through that in a second. But all the dash, as you can see, we have full Challenge Stradale spec interior blended with Spider, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. All the stereo system that came out of the CS, which again is an optional upgrade, is in the Spider. So we've got the subwoofer there, and terrible design by Ferrari, but underneath the lower dash there you have a box basically that they just bolted in place. Stuck a stereo down there. Door cards are all in. Got one more problem again that I'll go through. That's why we've got a bit of cloth protection over here on the dash. That is the next big job to rectify on this car. We're down to a handful of little jobs now. A big one, a few little ones, and a polish on the car. Everything has come out lovely down here. Ferraris everywhere at the moment. And all the door cards all in place now. Now we've got a couple more jobs we need to do here. We've just bled all the brake system, but the next thing we need to do is I need to actually check all the gearbox and some of the settings there. Now I couldn't really do that properly before, because in order to do that the brake system has to work. You have to be able to put your foot on the brake before you can actually change gears from the column here. So we're going to do that now. So I've got my trusty diagnostic system. We're going to plug in the dongle down into the OBD2 port under the dash here. Hear a little beep there. You probably can't hear because we've got so much background noise. Just put the ignition on, and then we're going to come to the back of the car. We've got open. Now check this out. First of all, carbon air boxes, carbon trim piece here. We've got one bit of carbon to go back on the car on this side. The reason I haven't done this is we did have another problem, and that was kind of all related over here. We've got some wiring in the wrong place. So first thing we're going to do is use my computer here. We're going to go to Euro, and we're going to select Ferrari naturally. Right there. That's going to connect to the dongle, and there we go. And then I want to check the F1 system on this car. Now I found from experience with the Challenge Stradale it's much nicer and more functionality going in via 430. So we come in here, we're going to go CFC 231 semi-automatic gearbox system. Now a couple of things I want to check here. Let's do a special function. First of all, let's check our clutch wear on the car. Alright, so we are already used 38%, so we got about 60, just over 60% of clutch left on this car. There's all our positions, and next we are going to go back, and I want to do a self-learn. So this is going to put all of the gearbox and the actuator system all in its optimal position. Because we've had the car apart. Now that's going to go through that. Now you can hear down here the actuator on the side of the gearbox, all the pump system going. That is selecting each of the gears, 1 to 6, reverse. And on the dash over here, you might just be able to see it's going through each of those gears and it's finding its perfect position. And there you go, so it's gone through all, it's done the reverse, it's done neutral now, and it's all happy. So that is going to be in its best position, and it's going to make the gear changes on this absolutely sweet as a nut. I'm really happy with that. What else are we going to do on here? I don't want to change any of the PIS adaptation or anything like that, because if you remember, on this car we've literally taken the full engine, the gearbox, all of the control modules over here, all of the power unit, all of the reservoir, the pump, and also the TCU from inside the car, switched it from the Challenge Stradale into the Spider, which means that everything would have been retained. Now I've just obviously run that self-learn as a backup. In theory I shouldn't have had to do that, because all of this should still retain the setup from the Challenge Stradale, but we'll play it all safe, and we've done that, so that's cool. I've already gone through, I've bled all the system here, done the clutch bleed, and before we did that we've done a couple of other things on here. We've done all the fluids and everything like that, so the car is now good and we can now finally test drive it. And there you go, guys, the trusty computer saved today again. Don't forget, if you want one of these, just email me, message me, and I'll send you a link where you can buy one. Absolutely superb on this generation, and anything newer than kind of mid 2002, 2003, 360 onwards, anything really before that, unless you upgrade the TCU, the functionality is not as good, and previous generations of Ferrari 355, just forget it, it's not worth it. But 430, 458, 488, these things are fantastic and save a lot of money. So ping me if you want one of these, and it's just plug and play. It's not just Ferrari either. You can see that's just European, there's American cars on there, the whole lot. Well guys, we're back in my car. Before we wrap up the video, a couple of little things. First of all, need your advice, if you've got any, on rear screen on the Challenge Stradale Spider. The Spider rooftop rear screen is very, very fogged up, very dirty. Now it's a plastic screen, it's not a glass screen on that one. So if you've got any products, any recommendations how I can clean that really nicely, bring it back to new looking, I would really appreciate those in the comments below. Talking about below, there is a new button right down there somewhere, or down there, that YouTube have launched, and it's called Super Thanks. Now that enables you guys to show your thanks to creators like me, who painstakingly put these videos together for your free entertainment. Anyway guys, if you do anything like that, I would really, really appreciate it, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to use it for. So after the Challenge Stradale Spider is finished, which is really, really close, we're back on the BBI. That's going to be fully focused until that's done for the next few months. And after that, we have a very cool project in the pipeline, which is what I will use any proceeds for, to buy parts for this one. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of cool clues. First clue, new old stock box containing a very, very cool item, a turbo gauge. Second clue, most obvious clue, number plate ready to go on that said future project. That's all you're getting. Right guys, what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the reason we're in my car, beginning of the video, I said we had very, very lumpy fuel. This car was driving terribly. Now, normally I'll dive in, plug in the computer, do all the stuff, start tearing it apart, figuring out what's wrong with it. However, on the way home, I got fresh fuel in this car, and well, it's driving perfectly now. So it appears I had a batch of bad fuel. Now, I've never had that in 30 years. Very strange, not really heard of anyone else having that. So if you've got any stories on getting bad petrol, bad fuel for your cars over the years, write those down there, I'd love to read them. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, share, subscribe to the channel, and you can check out what I get up to on a daily basis over on Instagram, on Facebook, This week I have actually driven that Challenge Stradale Spider, and did post some behind the scenes footage of what we got up to. Anyway guys, I'll see you very shortly. This week I'll be posting another video on the Challenge Stradale Spider. Hopefully it's the last one if we can get those bits finished. See you shortly. Ciao for now.